Have you ever wished that you could live in Hope Valley? Well, now the next best thing. The Wind Calls the Heart Elite Edition. With over 70 hours of bonus content on 36 DVDs. Bloopers, deleted scenes, and even never-before-seen episodes. You can find it online or at your local Walmart.
The Wind Calls the Heart After Show. With exclusive, never-before-seen interviews shot on location in Hope Valley as they were filming Wind Calls the Heart. Join the cast and the crew as they give you a first-hand, behind-the-scenes look at what it took to make Season 13 a reality. And now the host of the Wind Calls the Heart After Show, Elliot Wallach.
Hi everyone, welcome as we are halfway through the season on the Wind Calls the Heart After Show, Episode 6. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps us a lot and make all of our dreams come true. And comment. And we've got a lot of things that you can comment on. Coming up, we've got Kevin, we've got Pascal talking about somebody that Kevin just thinks the world of, the newest edition, Alex. Tiffany is on the set with Kevin right now.
Okay, so I have my first question.
Yeah. Suddenly I'm nervous.
Now, go ahead. What do you got?
So let's talk about Gwen.
Let's.
And this actress, Alex, Pascal was telling me just how incredible she is.
Her ability to take notes and to make adjustments was so uncanny that she could do 10 notes in one take. And I remember a scene with Peter when we were shooting a fishing scene. He realized, oh, she can take notes. He bombarded her with notes and she hit them all. Like,
really?
One take out of the park, 10 notes. And the first scene I had with her, I was trying to get a more normal reaction from her. So I banged the table a little bit to get a little bit of a real start. And she instinctively knew what I was doing and went with it. And she's so voraciously happy to be on set. She loves being here. I would normally never advise parents to let their kids get into this business. That's just me. That's me being quite candid. But there are some kids who it's just inherent. They just have it. And it's not just that they have the ability. It's that they have the desire. And she has this infectious joy about her. And she and I clicked right out of the gate. And I just had a great time with her. And it was fun to watch. And over the course of the season, her performances get just stronger and stronger and stronger. And in the end, even the beginning, but especially at the end, I was like, this is a special kid. And I mean that on any show I've ever been in. She stands out. She has an ability that is, I don't see it very often, but she can be completely wide open and real and intimate instantaneously. Crying is easy. Anybody can cry for people that are good at it. It's kind of almost a gimmick. If you're a good crier, you're like, and then just cry and everybody's blown away. But letting somebody in is tricky. And it was embarrassingly easy for her. Just fun to watch.
Gwen and Lee have a real special connection too.
Very special.
Yeah, different than with Rosemary.
Very different. Very different. I think Lee seems to take more naturally to, I think it's because he doesn't try and force it to happen. He's just makes himself available and allows her to come to him. And he just is so supportive of her, wanting to see her dad and then taking her fishing. And yeah, Kevin really, really liked working with Alex.
Yeah, because he doesn't have any girls himself.
No, he said to me, he's like, why can't one of my sons bring home a girl like Alex? She's really special.
Too much of an age difference, I think. They're too old for...
No,
They're
his
not?
one son is 15 and she's 14.
Oh, okay, well, there you go. You never know.
Maybe in a couple years.
Another decade.
I have 2 boys in real life, and it was kind of like having what I imagine it would be like to have a daughter. Like something about her just really connected with me, and we had a lot of fun. We had a daily thing where we went every single day that we worked together. We would go to craft services and get chia pudding. because they make different chia puddings every single day. So we'd go and we'd test them. It's hard to discuss Gwen without talking about Alex because it was so fun. Do you mind if we just jump to the scene about the fishing scene?
Yeah, that was my next question.
Great.
Perfect.
So we do this fishing scene, and we're just sitting on this thing. She's never fished a day in her life. I'm not really much of a fisherman. And we're throwing this dead fish into the pond and reeling it in like it's a real thing. So then we're just laughing and, shooting the breeze. And so our director for that episode is Peter DeLuise. And one of my favorite things to do with Peter is he's got some pretty serious OCD. So he's manic when he tells you how he wants it to be done. And my favorite thing to do is wait until he gets to the end of it, let him do his whole spiel, and it's a spiel. He's worked it out for days. And then I'm like, okay, sorry, can you run that by me one more time? And he's like, you serious? And then he starts over again. It's so much fun. So I started having Alex do it as well. So I would like, okay, I'd nudge her and she'd go, oh, okay, Peter, sorry, what was the middle thing again? And I'm like, yes. So we were two clowns monkeying around on set, and we had this fish. And there are different ways to do fish stunts, but in this one, they just took an older frozen fish, put it on the hook, throw it in. So when you pull it out and I grab the fish, it's a real fish, but it's dead. Yeah. It's kind of gross. Yeah. And so I would do this thing where Peter would be giving me his spiel, and I'd have handled the horse, the fish, and he's talking and he's doing his OCD thing. And I'm like, okay, all right. Okay, I think I got it, Peter. Thank you. Really, I appreciate that. Go to read, and he shakes my hand, and he's like, oh, you got me. I'm like, yeah, slimy fish hand. So a couple minutes later, I was like, listen, when he comes back here, here's the fish. Shake his hand and say thank you. So Alex goes, Peter. And he's like, yeah, I just wanted to shake your hand. You've been so great. And he's like, oh, Kevin, you got me again. So it was mischievous, but it was super fun, and it was a great connection.
How has it been working with him? Because he is really funny.
Every time there's food in a scene, he always like, I'll give you $10,000 if you just smash your head into the food mid-take. And I'm always like, no.
You haven't taken him up on it?
No.
Oh, I don't know. I think I would.
And even today, he was like, $1,000 if you eat those eggs. I don't know. They just looked so disgusting. I couldn't.
Was it a food scene that you guys were doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes it sits out. You don't actually want to eat it.
We weren't eating in the scene, but it was there, and he was like, $1,000. I was like, no.
Now, did he ever do any pranks on you, or did he ever get you to join in to anything that he did?
Another one for the fishing scene, a person was doing my hair, and then he was like, just yell ow really loud at a random moment. So then I just went, ow, and then she was like, oh, I'm so sorry. And then I couldn't take it. I was like, it's a joke.
Where did you guys shoot that? Where was that little fishing area?
It's where Elizabeth and Lucas have their lakeside picnic date seasons ago. Yeah. So it was that one. So just like right down by the row houses at the edge of our pond. So like we can see the kissing bridge kind of like in the other direction. So it was right there, and we cleaned it up and made it what it needed to be, and then handmade that little bench chest, and actually Martin wrote the sign. I made him write the sign. I don't think he was happy that I made him do it.
It's his fishing hole.
Well, that's just, and again, maybe I took advantage of like us, our friendship, but I was like, you tell me what you want on it, and I'm going to make you paint it. And so I pulled him into the paint shed and made him do it. And he was like, oh, I'm doing it. I'm like, yeah, why do you think I brought you?
It's like, this is not part of my job description.
Yeah, like, it is. When I'm the production designer, this is your job. And so he painted it, which was great. And again, it's those little touches that I absolutely love.
Wasn't there a gas station you also did this season?
Yeah. I don't know if we remember when we saw Pal the Pony, when Bill and LJ are riding Pal the Pony, like they're...
Oh, yeah.
And we've got like...
From a couple seasons ago, or last season.
Seasons ago. Yeah. And in the back, you see something that was like the tack shop that we used as that little outpost building. We used that. That was fun because we wanted it to look kind of run down and just a little decrepit. But sets like that are fun because... you get to be you get to take some creative license with it. And so like, I just kind of stood there. I'm like, oh, we need moss. We need moss everywhere, And so it's one of those things that, especially if you have some time, you get started on it early, you get to like walk up and be like, let's do this. And Peter was our director. And so he's always, I mean, they all are, but he likes to play. And so you throw some ideas out and he's like, yes, let's just do it. And, he'll show up on the day and be like, I see what you did there. And I'm like, I wanted it to be a surprise. So I have a lot of fun with a set like that and being able to bring it to life. And he has such an obsession with cars. So this is just the perfect moment. He was very particular about like making sure we knew that you have to take off the driver's seat and that's where the gas tank is. And we had our transport team in there. We needed to make sure when we got the shot of the gas pump, because there is a safety issue there with the fumes and the gas and all of that and like things sparking. So you can't get things too close to it. And it just came down to be like, can we just use him to be our gas attendant? And so we roped him into doing it. And it's so good. It looks so great on camera. And Peter was just tickled. He was so happy he got his way.
I thought that was going to be a maybe kind of a throwaway. No, but it's so great that they just all the work that goes into it.
And I mean, they could have been, but like, why not really give it everything that you've got? Because it's fun. Like, this isn't just a job. I like to do this. So why not have some fun with it? And we've just seen everything so often that it's nice to be able to like get creative. Like, how can we make this look different? Yeah. We really want to create this world. And make it grow. And so seeing things like that and like the fishing hole that, Gowan sets up. And so there's these little moments that, again, kind of a small thing, but it's telling the story.
So you got to share a lot of scenes with Alex.
I did.
Playing Gwen.
Yes.
So tell me about that connection between those two characters.
She's obviously involved in this fire in Benson Hills, and her father is laid up with a broken leg and they can't move him. They're afraid of infection. So she comes as one of the orphans to town, and Rosemary and Lee end up taking her in, and we foster her. And she's reluctant to open up to Rosemary, but for some reason she feels a bit safer with Lee. And which is quite interesting for Lee because he's got a baby, but this is an older kid, and I think he is quite smitten with the idea of, having this connection. I really enjoyed my time working with Alex. I really do believe the beginning of like a remarkable career if she sticks with it.
Pascal felt the same way.
Yeah, she's amazing. I knew it the first day, and I was just like, keep this kid on the show, keep this kid on the show. And I emailed the writers and I talked to everybody, and don't let this kid go. Do not let this kid go because she's going to take off. I have no doubt.
So you'd like to see her if we get a season 14?
100%. It would be a huge mistake to let her go, I think. There, I said my piece.
Well, she only lives down the street in Benson Hill.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Always fun.
Always fun. Pleasure.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
You haven't
I got to the fish.
Something tells me if there would have been a fish on that set, Tiffany might have dodged a bullet. That was the first time I think they've ever actually shaken hands like that. I think it's traditionally a high five. Now, coming up, speaking of tradition, if you guys have been watching this for a while, so much of When Calls the Heart found its roots in Little House on the Prairie. Of course, Michael Landon Jr.'s father got Little House on the Prairie. So how much it must have come full circle to have Austin Landon come on the show. Melissa Gilbert of Little House on the Prairie gets to talk about just that first.
Your character arrives on set and you have a special passenger with you. Can you tell me about the Mountie that shows up with you?
I have a very handsome, delightful, brilliant young Mountie with me, and he is played by Austin Landon, who is Mike Landon Jr.'s son, and for all intents and purposes feels like a nephew to me.
I wondered, so have you known him since he was a baby?
I've known him from a distance now. He's been living in Austin, Texas, oddly enough, since he was 10 years old. So I have had glances and glimpses of him and seen him at things, but not as much as all of the other kids. But still, family is family. And when we all get together, like last night, we had dinner together, Mike and Austin and myself, and it was I felt like an aunt, like an auntie.
Yeah. And so why is Georgie back in Hope Valley? What's she doing?
Georgie is back to initially to help investigate some potential insurance fraud in relation to a fire that is also being investigated. And obviously that's the work part of it. But then Georgie gets to come back and see Bill.
How would you describe her relationship with Bill this season?
I don't think it's a defined relationship yet, and I don't think that they even really know where they're going. They just know they really, really want to be near each other as much as humanly possible. So there's the work relationship, because we are going to be working together on this investigation as it moves forward. And then there's also the relationship part. And one of the things I love about this is that at our age, Jack and I are both in our 60s, having the opportunity to show a new romance at this phase in our lives is, I think, really important. And I think it gives a lot of hope to a lot of people who find themselves single at this age, that it is possible to fall in love again and to have butterflies in your stomach again, and to flirt and enjoy the company of a potential other partner again.
And your banter is so natural. And does that just come naturally? Do you guys prepare for that?
Yeah, it just came naturally, instantly from last season. Jack and I have a really terrific chemistry together. We get along really well. We were really excited to see each other today, and it started right away. So the banter happens off camera and on camera too. And this whole company, everybody is really connected, and they share these wonderful relationships all with each other off camera as well, which I like.
She's great with her dialogue too. You believe she's a forensic, Mountie, and that she knows what she's talking about. So we do our due diligence around the actual technical parts of forensic and investigation. And, we also have the attraction part, which is really fun to play with her.
Yeah. So how would you describe their relationship this season?
Well, it's fun because her first day, she was like, when she got out of the taxi and appeared, and you saw my face, and she said, "Hello, Bill, lovely to see you." And I said, "Hello, Georgie." And she goes, and they said, "Cut." And she goes, "Oh my God, I felt like a schoolgirl. I just felt like a schoolgirl." So I think it has that, right? We like to see these two characters who are a little older, right? This isn't a young couple, but we see them humanized and really in that element of that feeling, right? Of like, oh, what do I do here? What am I doing the right thing? And I think that leaves it fresh. And I think it also gives us a lot to play.
And she arrives with Michael Landon Jr.'s son, Austin Landon. And when did you learn that he was going to be playing the character of the Mountie?
Well, I learned Austin Landon was playing the character when I saw Michael Landon Jr. on set. I'm like, Michael! Yes. So anyway, his son plays a Mountie who brings a polygraph machine, and they're in the same taxi when Melissa Gilbert character Georgie shows up. So I'm expecting Georgie, and all of a sudden this Mountie gets out of the cab, and I'm like, "Constable, what can I do for you?" And of course, Nathan is there, Kevin McGarry's character. So they talk, and then Melissa gets out of the cab, and we see them seeing each other for the first time this season.
So let's talk about your last name. Mm-hmm. You're Austin Landon. Mm-hmm. Your dad created the show, Gwen Calls the Heart. Have you been to the set before?
This is actually my first time. I have heard so many stories from the creation of the show and his time here filming, and which just made me all the more excited to finally get to come here and experience it myself. And it's been just a blast. Everyone is so friendly and warm and welcoming, and it's really helped me settle in and have a community here.
So when did you find out that your scenes were going to be with Melissa Gilbert?
Found out actually only a handful of weeks ago, which just was another fantastic addition to everything that had already happened. She's been lovely to work with. Such a sweetheart. She's given me a lot of guidance, and it's been very, very helpful.
She was saying that she's been filling you in on some details about your dad.
She has. Some that I cannot say here. In fact, yeah, there are things that I've learned about my dad that I don't know if I would have ever known without her. So very appreciative of that. It'll give something to hold over him and make our relationship a little bit more even.
So let's talk about your character, Elmore Briggs. Tell me about that.
Elmore is a up-and-coming constable, very ambitious. I think takes himself very seriously, wants to prove himself, and he's also bringing the first polygraph machine that the town has ever seen, which has been pretty fun. I got to just yesterday see the model of it that they built in the props department. They did a phenomenal job. It looks great.
Is it a prop or is it an actual polygraph machine?
It's a prop. When I went to the props department, they had a bunch of different photo references all over the place. And I mean, it looks almost identical. So yeah, a phenomenal job.
So when you knew you were going to have to interact with this polygraph machine, did you do any research?
I did. I looked a model up on YouTube, and made me a little bit nervous actually, because it's a pretty... it's a bit of a barbaric contraption, not very streamlined at all. So was a little nervous of like having to figure out how to work one, if depending on what they did end up having. And
now, when you come onto a show, do they expect you to know how to do that, or are they going to walk you through that?
Don't expect me to know, and they've helped walked me through it, but just out of my own nerves, wanted to try to be as prepared as possible going in, try to look like a professional.
So you had another big prop this season, and that was a polygraph machine. Was it working? And how did you make that thing? Or get it?
Yeah, that polygraph was a project. So some exist. They're extremely expensive and extremely hard to get. There was no way we were going to be able to ship it in on time. Plus then test it and actually control it the way we needed it to be controlled. So we knew from early on that it had to be a build. And so, our props team and our special effects team, honestly, like, they're the ones who built it. I was like, this is what we need. And then there was not much more I could do about it other than lead them through it and say yes or no, and this isn't working. But it came down to even the color of paper that we were going to use and the color of the pen. But special effects with metal, they literally molded it, had their motors. We 3D printed the spools and bought the paper and cut the paper down. Just mechanics that I don't truly understand at all, but special effects, brilliant. They were able to control the pen with a little lever, and so that's what controlled the pen.
Was somebody off camera controlling?
Yeah, so it was on a wire, and Sammy and his team were there just doing it. And so there was a dance of the toggle to be able to move the pen up and down. And then we brought in all these little knickknacks just to the wires and the cords and everything to make them all done up. And that again was that down to the wire, because you have a timeline and you have a million other projects you're also doing. It's not just the only thing you could be working on. And then we had tests and approvals, and there's definitely a process to getting something that big as well done. And when I say big, I mean actually physically big, but just the weight of that prop was really important, and it had to be perfect, and it had to look real, and we had to be able to sell it, because when you were given an opportunity like that to highlight a new invention, you don't want to just bypass it. You don't want it just to be like, oh, it's fine, like it'll do this, but we won't really highlight it. And you want to give it the time and the camera time that it deserves.
Mm-hmm.
And so we could shoot it 360, 100%, and just we hopefully pulled it off. Hopefully people enjoy it. But I was really proud.
Yeah,
that one.
I saw it in person with the big "do not touch."
Oh yeah, oh man, yeah.
Can you imagine if somebody see all the work that goes into that?
That was not oh yeah, we have two, don't worry about it.
Yes, don't touch it.
Polygraph was definitely the most exciting thing that I had to build, I think, definitely on the season. We started the talk about the polygraph way back in prep. Our props master, Melody, she put a picture out and she said, hey, this is what I'm thinking, and everyone agreed. We just had to start from scratch, because it's difficult to find a polygraph from the 1920s that is functional. So we built it to look like the one in 1920s. And what we did with special effects, we built it and we created a mechanism for basically a white pen to go up and down, and then the two drums to be able to rotate at a very low speed. That was all controlled by us. It was some wires. There were wires coming out from the back of the polygraph and goes to basically a remote control that we built specifically for the polygraph. So we can control the speed of the paper, and we can control the speed of the pen. So basically when someone is on the polygraph and he's not saying a lie and he's saying the truth, the pen just moves slightly. But as soon as the lie comes in, which the heart rate comes up, then the pen starts going up and down. It took us about 2 months work, absolutely, from the beginning, designing it, building the 3D parts, that props, that the drums were built out of 3D, and then to put everything together, to build a steel structure. It was very exciting to do it. It was extremely challenging to get the very perfect speed that Pierre DeLuise wanted. And he knows what he wants, and he knows what will look great, and we did it, and it was very successful.
What do you think about bringing new technology? I feel like they're really good about introducing things of the period every season.
I love that they bring the polygraph in. We use the polygraph today even, right? And this is when it was first invented and introduced, and we're bringing it into law enforcement and testing it. But we're doing something really cute and funny with Nathan at a dinner scene with Elizabeth, and just using her dessert that he says he loves so much. And, Melissa Gilbert and I, our characters are like, And so the next scene, my character's like, yeah, I don't know if you tell the truth all the time. And he's like, what are you talking about? And I kind of call him out on like, I just don't believe you love this dessert she makes so much. So we have this whole banter going back and forth, and we put Nathan on the polygraph machine to try to find out if he's lying about whether he loves Elizabeth's dessert or not. It's really funny. I think it infuses some, when couples get together, right? So you've got Melissa Gilbert, myself, and Aaron Krakow and Nathan, Elizabeth and Nathan and Georgie and Bill, kind of having this banter and doing like what couples do, right? They get into like,
So let's talk about the polygraph.
Yes.
And working with Michael Landon's son was here. Austin was in town.
He's a serious guy. Austin was in town. Yeah. He was a serious guy. There was a scene that Jacob, who plays Oliver, had to come in with muffins. I think it was just scripted that he kind of shows up with this box of muffins. He just kind of appears with muffins. And we made this whole bit about making sure that Austin gets a muffin. And then I don't know if this makes it in, I don't know, but Peter thought it'd be so funny for Austin to thank him for the muffin, but in a very serious way while he's doing the polygraph. I thought it was really stupid and funny. I don't know if it made it or not, but yeah, Austin was great. And he's the Mountie that shows up in town with the polygraph, a new technology that is kind of just being discovered out here. And having that polygraph leads to a hilarious scene with Nathan being all, tied up with all the gizmos and gadgets to try to prove that he really likes Elizabeth's dessert.
Right. The lemon curd.
The lemon curd, who Jack is like, you don't really like that thing. You're just saying that because you like her. So everybody goes into the jail to test this sucker out. And somehow a question gets asked by little Jack, do you want to marry my mom? So he kind of panics, and I think the test blows up. And then Christopher actually shows up. This is the thing I was telling you about, kind of funny line, and then all of a sudden the serious line. Christopher shows up to be like, I'm the one that hid the transformer. And the scene kind of takes a darker turn after that. But yeah.
Saves the day a little bit.
Saves the day. It is Saved by the Bell by Christopher. And then the next day, I had to go in. Nathan comes kind of in with this massive monologue that I think I delivered in 3 seconds. I've never talked so fast. Just kind of panicking and saying, it's not that I don't love you or not that I don't want this. I just don't want this right now. And, to be fair, you've never really asked me and blah, blah, blah. But kind of just reassuring Elizabeth that, he does want that. And it's just he wants it to be special. He didn't want it to be with a bunch of wires on his head.
When you found out you had the opportunity to audition, how did you feel about that?
Oh, ecstatic.
Yeah.
To get to work on something in a way alongside my dad is just a phenomenal accomplishment to me.
Is this something you want to pursue? You want to do acting or directing?
I acting, absolutely. Directing, I think my dad has the vision, and I'm gonna trust the people who have that.
When you learned he was going to be on season 13, how did you feel about that, sort of this full circle moment?
It was amazing. I pitched my son, and he had just spent 2 years an intense program at Ruskin, and which is a fantastic acting school in Los Angeles. And listen, we all need a break, and I knew he was ready, and he auditioned and knocked it out of the park, and here he is. Really proud of him.
And another person that's close to your family, Melissa Gilbert.
Yes.
She's back.
She is back.
Did you have any part in having her
Oh, yes.
be on the show?
Oh, yeah. What happened was there was this fly that came in, and
it's always at the opportunity.
isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Oh, get the fly.
Yeah, bud. Yeah. Here we go.
Let's do it. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Thanks. Don't stab me. Okay. Yeah.
This is now.
Is this
don't
below
use that
camera?
against me. This is like
No. Oh, yeah. No. Don't move.
or what are you asking me?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I'm really sweating.
Yeah. Actually. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Okay. So. Melissa. So what happened was, so my sister and I attended the 50th anniversary of Little House on the Prairie, and oh dang it, I had him.
Almost got it. That was scary.
Yeah, sorry, I wouldn't actually. Yeah. So my sister and I attended the 50th anniversary of Little House on the Prairie in Simi Valley, and well over 20,000 people showed up. And it was one of the most amazing experiences of my life. Just the love for that show was, man, it was so moving. I was in tears quite a bit, so was my sister. And I would say 1 out of every 5 attendees knew about When Calls the Heart. And I thought, man, how do we make it 5 out of 5? And so I thought, wow, let's try to get Melissa Gilbert on the show. And so I pitched it to Hallmark. They flipped over it. And I reached out to Melissa and asked her if she'd be interested. And she said she would love to. And the rest is history.
Because you guys have a long history together.
We do. We met at 10. We were both 10 years old.
Okay.
We're just a couple months apart.
Okay.
And she's older than me.
I'm sure she'll appreciate that.
No, that's why I said it. And yeah, we've known each other. We went to homecoming and prom, and so we've been, friends for a very long time.
Now, Brooke Shields is also part of the
Yes.
show. She came back this season.
Yes.
Did you know Brooke before?
I did not.
Okay.
I've only met Brooke once. It was one of the Hallmark. Is it TCA?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awards.
Awards. Yeah. And so we met there. Obviously a sweetheart of a woman, very talented, and man, we were all over the moon when she said yes to the show.
Yeah. So any special memories about this whole experience?
Listen, I love working with children. This cast is amazing. There's a spirit on the set where, people are just genuinely nice. Like, this is a really nice set to work on.
Yeah.
And I think part of it does come from the material. What are the stories you're telling? And I think that kind of transfers over into real life. And listen, this is hard work. I mean, the crew's working, 12-hour days and sort of long days, and it can get pretty exhausting. But just the spirit of the show, I think, really does kind of set the mood.
Well, thanks for taking the time to sit down and talk to me. Thank you for
Always. Yes, for not zapping
me.
you.
This is how you keep
Sneaky
me.
fly.
You keep me in line with electricity.
That's right. What's your next question?
That's right. Okay, until next time.
Until next time. Thanks, Tiff.
And that concludes the Halfway There After show with special guest Michael Landon Jr. We don't get him too often. He happened to be on the set, so it was a big win for us. I'm curious, what was your guys' favorite episode so far of the entire series? In fact, what was your favorite season? Like, could you give me the favorite season and favorite episode? Comment below. YouTube loves to see that and make all our dreams come true. And if you really want to make our dreams come true, don't forget you can pre-order the When Calls the Heart Collector's Edition at whencallsstart.com. That's going to have all this after show. It'll have bloopers, deleted scenes, and other bonus content. You guys are going to love it. And speaking of bonus content, the Elite Edition. That was something we made over 12 years. That's waiting for you at Walmart. It's over 70 hours of bonus content. That'll keep you busy for a while. And until then, we'll see you next time on the When Calls the Heart After Show.